Hey everyone, the name is Kris Barocsi. Welcome to Gear Corner. This is big news. Wampler just released a new fuzz pedal after what? 12 years or something? I mean, you'll see a Wampler pedal coming out quite frequently. Same goes for fuzz pedals, but those two things don't really come together very often. So if you love both the brand and love fuzzes, this is kind of big news, and I'm dying to try it out. At the beginning, when you start playing fuzzes, it's kind of a struggle. It's a weird experience. It will not adjust itself to your playing. It only works the other way around. I still love and recommend the Velvet Fuzz to all those people who are just getting into playing fuzz pedals. But this new one, the Cryptid, does that and goes further, like much further. It's really cool. It's an original circuit, original design, and it has all the tweaking capabilities that you could ever ask for on a fuzz pedal. It goes from proper old school overdrive to full-on gated crazy fuzz. The Cryptid Fuzz has 4 knobs and 2 mini toggle switches: volume, fuzz, tone, and character, and the 2 mini toggle switches are chime and tight. These 2 mini toggles, the tight and the chime, are before the clipping happens, which means that if you change the settings on these, those will influence the way the pedal clips, like how this fuzz or distortion sounds like and how it reacts to your playing. Let's check out the tight mini toggle switch. In its middle position, you'll have a flat low end response. If you go in the down position, you'll have a bit of a bass boost, and in the up position, you have the most amount of bass the pedal can give you. Now, this is the switch that will allow you to get closer to an overdrive sound if you keep the tight switch in the middle. And if you crank all the bass, so go in the up setting, the upper setting of the switch, you'll have like a very much, well, Fuzz Face-y kind of very big and round, very obviously fuzzy drive sound. The Chime mini toggle is most effective with lower fuzz settings. If you have the fuzz cranked, it doesn't really do a lot. So you might want to pay attention to that. And also in its middle setting, you'll have the most flat presence response. In the lower setting, you'll have a bit of a presence boost, and in the upper setting, you have the most amount of presence the pedal can give you. This gives you, of course, clarity, and also the settings of the Chime switch will change the impedance of the pedal, which means that it will change the amount of sparkle that you get when you roll down the volume as well. One thing is very important, of course, if you want to do that, if you want to have this roll down, like volume rollback, kind of sparkly, clean sound, you have to make sure that there's no buffer in front of the Cryptid fuzz. So you have to use it the same way as you would use most of your traditional fuzzes. Guitar goes into Cryptid and then the rest of the pedal board. Then it doesn't really matter what's up. All the buffers, all the other pedals can come after it, but nothing in front. And then the tone knob sits after the clipping, which means that you are free to use that and make the pedal sound warmer or a bit more presence focused without changing anything about the way the pedal reacts. It's after the clipping, so it really is like a post EQ, like processing your sound really, or make it work with your amp or with the rest of the pedals on your pedal board. And then there's the character, which is like the bias. And with that, you can go counterclockwise. That will give you a very smooth, round sound. The least fuzzy and most overdrive-esque kind of sound. And then if you crank it and go clockwise, you will have more of a gated, spitty, very obviously fuzzy kind of sound. And what's also very unusual about the Cryptid and makes this fuzz much more usable for a lot of people, you don't need a drive pedal after this. You can go into a completely clean amp. This is what I'm doing for the most part in this video as well. The sound I'm using is just the Tone King Imperial amp on the clean channel. Usually that doesn't end up very well because most fuzz pedals will sound kind of harsh and will not have a ton of gain, especially like old school, like a tone bender or Fuzz Face type pedals. Those usually want an amp that's a little bit crunchy, or maybe an overdrive pedal after the fuzz. That is usually what makes them sound smooth and like really musical. The Cryptid does that all by itself, which is a huge plus. Even though I find the Cryptid perfect with a clean amp, I will want to just try it out with like a Marshall-esque kind of British drive sound. I use the rewired left side, which is a Plexi style drive after the Cryptid fuzz. So it's going to be Tele going into Cryptid fuzz, into rewired, into clean Tone King Imperial. My thoughts and impressions of the Cryptid fuzz. It's a very enjoyable fuzz pedal. What I love about this is that it's one of those really few fuzzes that are super easy to set up. Like if you just want something that is borderline fuzzy, but it's kind of like a drive still and is not that super muddy when you palm mute, it's easy to set it up. Just put the tight switch in the middle and be careful with the character, right? If you keep it counterclockwise, it will be smooth and react like almost like a drive pedal. If you want it super spitty and almost broken, just crank up the character, crank up both the tight and the chime to give it like all the frequencies and like super gated and like, oh, it's awesome. It does so much. Like you could get away with using this one instead of 6 other fuzz pedals. And I'm not saying that it's gonna be exactly like a Fuzz Face and a Tone Bender and a Big Muff and a whatever, but it will definitely get close enough to give you the experience of playing a nice silicon or even germanium type Fuzz Face. It does the cleanup so well. There's a reason why someone who's into fuzzes will have at least 5, if not 10 or 20 or 30 fuzz pedals and just 3 drives and 2 delays and 2 choruses or whatever the modulation. Every fuzz pedal will sound and react different to the guitar you're playing, the amp you're plugging it into, all of those things. And depending on the song, the mood, the gear you're using, you will have to have a different fuzz. You cannot just tweak most of them. They do what they do, and if it doesn't work for that song, well. So this is where pedals like this, they don't really sacrifice the joy of playing like a really good fuzz, but give you the option of tweaking it to perfection and to tweak it to fit that song or fit that guitar, whether you're using humbuckers or singles or whatever. That is very powerful and kind of unique, to be honest. As told, I have maybe a handful of pedals that will do this. At max, maybe just 3. Even though I own a lot of fuzz pedals and I know even more fuzz pedals, it's a unique thing, and I really appreciate Brian's effort trying to make fuzzes work for a lot of people, because if you get like a really good first fuzz, it's gonna be a really long journey and you'll love it. But if you choose like the wrong first fuzz, it can ruin it for you forever. And the Cryptid is definitely capable of doing that as well. So really strong package, beautiful design. Love the paisley design on it as well. So it's really cool. All right, let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about it, and yeah, whatever is on your mind. See you down there in the comments, and see you in the next video next week. Bye bye.